Welcome to Hypercar Global, the channel for electric vehicles. Let's get into the video. Electric vehicle range tests, real world versus EPA. InsideF's tests EVs to find out how far they'll go in the real world at a steady 70 miles per hour. How far an electric vehicle goes on a single charge depends on a lot of factors, including speed, temperature, topography, and other traffic conditions. This is why government-backed range ratings like the EPA and WLTP use are really just an estimate of what an EV owner can expect in a combination of city and highway driving in mostly favorable, albeit not ideal, ambient temperatures. The real world is entirely different, though, which is why InsideF's conducts its own EV range tests at a constant speed of 70 miles per hour. About EV range tests conducted by InsideF's. We want to make it clear our range tests aren't perfect. There are variables simply out of our control like wind, traffic, and weather. However, we do our best to control what we can. We always set the tires to the manufacturer's recommended pressure, we cross-check the speedometer with a GPS for accuracy, we charge up to 100% and enter the highway either immediately or within a couple of miles. Then we drive at a constant 70 miles per hour and in long loops so we end up basically where we started. Whenever possible, we repeat the test with a second member of the team on a different course. When we do that, we average the results of the two tests. We also report the temperature and whether we use the heating or cooling during the test, and offer our opinions on how using the climate control system used may have impacted the results. We realize that a change in temperature as little as 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 5.5 degrees Celsius, can have a meaningful effect on an electric car's range. 2020 Tesla Model Y long range, dual motor. Real world highway range, 276 miles. EPA estimated range, 316 miles. Difference, minus 12.7%. We were able to secure an early Tesla Model Y delivered to New Jersey and take it out on our highway range test course on the New Jersey Turnpike. We weren't able to go quite as far as we did with the Model 3, but that was expected. The Model Y is EPA range rated at 316 miles per charge. In our highway range test, we were able to squeeze out 276 miles, 444 kilometers, with an average consumption rate of 3.85 miles/kWh. 2019 Tesla Model 3 long range, dual motor. Real world highway range, 290 miles. EPA estimated range, 322 miles. Difference, minus 10.0%. The Tesla Model 3 dual motor, long range is EPA rated at 322 miles per charge and is one of the most efficient EVs available today. In our 70 miles per hour highway range test, we were able to drive a total of 290 miles, 467 kilometers, with an average consumption rating of 4.25 miles/kWh, 14.59 kilowatt hours/100 kilometers. It finished up achieving 10% less range than its EPA range rating. Audi E-Tron. Real world highway range, 188.4 miles. EPA estimated range, 204 miles. Difference, minus 7.9%. The Audi E-Tron is EPA range rated at 204 miles, 328 kilometers, per charge and has a 95 kilowatt hours battery. Of that, only 83.6 kilowatt hours is accessible for use. For 2021, Audi is increasing the usable capacity of the e-tron's battery to 86.5. That, plus some advances made in efficiency, will increase the e-tron's EPA-rated range up to 222, 357 miles. However, for our 70 miles per hour highway range test, we used a 2019 e-tron, with 83.6 kilowatt hours usable capacity. We were able to squeeze out 188.4 miles, 303 kilometers, and averaged a consumption rating of 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, 26.96 kilowatt hours/100 kilometers, which is by far the least efficient EV we've tested on. 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 First Edition Real World Highway Range, 234 miles. EPA estimated range, 250 miles. Difference, minus 6.4%. We tested a 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 first edition with the 82 kWh battery, 77 kWh usable, in New Jersey in March, so the temperatures weren't perfect for range. It was between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 4.5 degrees Celsius to 8.9 degrees Celsius. However, we did drive it for a while, and then DC fast charge it back up to 100% before starting out. So we believe that warmed up the battery a bit and contributed to the excellent results that we observed. The ID.4 was able to cover 230 miles, 370 kilometers, when we ended the range test at 2% state of charge, and the vehicle was showing an estimate of 4 miles of range remaining. We averaged 3 miles/kWh, which lines up nicely with the ID.4's 77 kWh of usable energy. The ID.4 has an EPA-rated range of 250 miles, 402 kilometers, and we only came up 6.4% short of that at a constant 70 miles per hour. BMW i3. Real-world highway range, 141 miles. EPA estimated range, 153 miles. Difference, minus 7.8%. In 2019, the BMW i3 received a battery upgrade from 33.2 kWh in previous years to 44.2 kWh. That increase was good enough to give the 2019 i3 BEV a 153-mile EPA range rating. During our 70 miles per hour highway range test, the baby Bimmer was able to go 141 miles, 227 kilometers, and delivered a consumption rating of 3.6 miles/kWh, 17.22 kilowatts/100 kilometers. 2021 Porsche Taycan RWD. Real-world highway range, 293 miles. EPA estimated range, 225 miles. Difference, plus 30%. Porsche introduced a new base version of the Taycan in 2021 that is only offered in rear-wheel drive. Kyle was one of the first members of the media to get hold of one and performed the 70 miles per hour range test. This new version comes standard with Porsche's performance battery with a gross capacity of 79.2 kilowatt-hours. However, the car Kyle used had the 93.4 kilowatt-hours Performance Plus battery option, which costs $5,570. The RWD Taycan became our new 70 miles per hour range test king, covering an amazing 293 miles, 471 kilometers, before the battery was completely exhausted. That's a whopping 30% better than its EPA range rating of only 225 miles, 362 kilometers, per charge. Hyundai Ioniq Electric. Real-world highway range, 171 miles. EPA estimated range, 170 miles. Difference, plus 0.6%. The 2020 Hyundai Ioniq Electric comes with a 38.3 kilowatt-hours battery, a full 10 kilowatt-hours more than the battery in the Ioniq Electric of previous years. The new larger battery combined with the Ioniq's extreme efficiency gives the 2020 Ioniq a 170-mile EPA range rating, 36 more miles than before. The Ioniq Electric is one of only 3 EVs we've tested to drive as far or further than its EPA range rating during our 70 miles per hour range test. It passed its rating by 1 mile and delivered a 171-mile, 275 kilometers, highway range. The Ioniq Electric was the most efficient EV we've tested to date in our 70 miles per hour highway range test and averaged 4.5 miles/kWh, 13.78 kilowatt-hours/100 kilometers. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you are new, please subscribe.